welcome to another Sherlock-related episode on Stuff You Like with me, Ursa. Yep, it's the penultimate episode of Sherlock season this week. Aren't you sad? But fear not, because next week is Jim versus Moriarty, and then we have 2 special episodes on Halloween and Guy Fawkes before we start Firefly season. Oh, this is Barclay. And, do you like the new room? Alright, let's jump right in. Now, television is a wonderful medium. I love it, I really do. And largely due to the influence of cinema and TV and computers, we live in a very visual age. If it doesn't have nice pictures, preferably moving ones, we make like a tree and leaf. The thing is, we're all connoisseurs of television now. Even if we don't carry it over into real life, we know the conventions of the medium. Ugly equals geeky, and geeky equals socially awkward, and fat equals uncontrollable eater. And ugly also equals evil, unless we're going for the sexy, evil seducer thing.
Hi.
Next week, Jim. Next week. Come back then. So of course we cannot ever have ugly people on our screens, because ugly people are not empathetic. Which brings us quite neatly to Mycroft and Lestrade. In the books, Sherlock's older brother Mycroft is a corpulent and somewhat unattractive civil servant, and Lestrade of Scotland Yard is an unpleasant and frankly weaselly little man. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Mycroft and Lestrade. I mean, compared to their literary counterparts, wow. Now, Rupert Graves makes a great Lestrade, so I'm not complaining, but Lestrade in the books is a short, unattractive man, and somewhat unpleasant to boot. The biggest difference, though, is not his 1 to 10 rating, it's his history with Sherlock. Books? Lestrade and Holmes have an outwardly cordial relationship, but that's about it. They respect each other, more or less, but their relationship is about the work. They don't really like each other much. On the show, Lestrade is much more invested in Sherlock, has much more of a history with him, probably relating to Sherlock's recreational activities of dubious legality. Holmes indulged in cocaine and morphine back before it was illegal, but he's as meticulously controlled there as he is in all other facets of his life. Sherlock? Not so much. So Lestrade ends up in a kind of handler role. Protector, father figure, big brother. And speaking of big brother, now would be a good time to talk about Mycroft. Mycroft is a tweed-suited dandy with an umbrella.
You called?
TBelle, hi! Yes, I did indeed. Care to tell us your thoughts on the elder Holmes?
Happily. One of the biggest differences between the canon Mycroft Holmes and the one of modern day is that this Mycroft is far more threatening. Watson's first introduction to Mycroft was him people-watching out the window of his gentleman's club. It was years before he found out the elder Holmes was not the mild-mannered clerk first described. John, however, was freaking kidnapped off a public street to meet the man for the first time. Mycroft nearly gives Jim a run for his money in the devious department. Being the British government in the 19th century is impressive, but not necessarily an action role. But now in the age of computer security cameras and, well, George Orwell, Mycroft becomes scary. He's still a foil for Sherlock, but not in the same way. He has a sedentary laziness in canon to match Sherlock's manic energy. This Mycroft is the lawful neutral to Sherlock's chaotic good-ish.
Thanks, TBelle. Mycroft is played by Mark Gatiss, and Mark Gatiss is just not fat. So instead of sedentary laziness on Mycroft's part, we have him watching his weight and his skinny as a rake little brother snarking him about it all the time. Still, at least they haven't gone down the Hollywood Pudgy route. And the real cause of all of this conflict? Apparently even sociopaths and professional stalkers love their mummy.
And you know how it always upset Mummy?
In my head, Mummy is played by Judi Dench. In the series, she's another shadowy background figure, but my interpretation is valid until I see something that directly contradicts it, dang it.
Getting off topic a bit.
Oh, right. Yes. In addition to Mycroft not being Hollywood Pudgy, Lestrade is not Hollywood homely. These things are both blessings. Both terms relate to the skewed attractiveness quotient of media, particularly films. Oh my gosh, she's so fat, or so ugly when the actor in question is absolutely flipping gorgeous. A schmaltzy pointless film I quite like. Love Actually, in which Martine McCutcheon plays a tea lady or something like that at Downing Street, and Hugh Grant playing Hugh Grant, the Prime Minister. Hugh Grant if he were Prime Minister, can't understand why everybody calls her the chubby girl because she's not remotely fat. This is lampshading of the trope. A particularly obnoxious example? Special K adverts. You know what, just look for yourself.
too many holiday treats? Take the Special K Challenge with so many ways to lose up to 6 pounds in 2 weeks. What will you gain when you lose? Get started at specialk.com.
You're not fat! It's heartening to see nobody in Sherlock obsessing over their weight or their hair. All in all, it's not so surprising that Mycroft and Lestrade are smarter and better looking than the average bear, not to mention their literary counterparts. Maybe it says sad things about us as a society, or maybe it says that genes and evolution influence us more than we previously thought. Or maybe it just says that we're kind of shallow. I'll take that. So all that remains is to say thanks, TBelle.
Always happy to lend a hand.
And then to invite everyone back next week for the final showdown, Jim versus Moriarty. See you then. Bye-bye.